Everything you need to know to make the right pension payout decision for you, next on Retiring Today. This is Retiring Today. I'm here with Haley Gutschenritter and Loren Merkle. They're both certified financial planners. Loren is also a certified financial fiduciary and a retirement income certified professional. We're going to talk about pensions today. And I know pensions are less common than they were 20, 30 years ago, but you both still sit down a lot with people who are faced with a pension payout decision.
Yeah, I mean, corporate pensions, only about 15% of Americans have a corporate pension available to them. But if you look at federal, city, state employees, most of them do have a pension available to them. So pensions are still very prevalent. A high percentage of people, of the families that we work with, do have access to some sort of pension. So it's extremely important. And you couple that with Social Security, which is another form of pension. If we add up the monthly payments from the pension, not even including Social Security, over the course of your 20 to 25 year retirement, we could be talking about well over $500,000 for some of you into $1 million lifetime portfolio. So the stakes are high, and there's a lot of decisions when it comes to executing on your pension. And we couple that with this increasing interest rate environment. It's left a lot of people with many questions about their pension.
Yeah, let's talk about why this can all be confusing. So I've heard you guys say investing in a pension kind of easy. Usually your employer does it for you. You don't have a lot of choices to make during the working years, but then you sit down and get ready to retirement, or you get these statements from the company and things are changing on your lump sum payout. It gets a little confusing as you get towards retirement.
Pensions can be very complex because just like with Social Security, there's a lot of options that they give you when it comes time to electing your pension. And there's some lump sum options, there's some annuity payment options, and then it even goes much deeper than that. So the complexity of the pension is there, and really what you're trying to do is you're trying to make the best decision possible so that you can maximize your income in retirement, and that all gets incorporated within your overall retirement plan.
Well, let's break it down. Let's talk about the lump sum. What is the lump sum payment?
The lump sum is basically the option to take a lump sum amount in lieu of the lifetime monthly annuity payment. So as an example, let's say you have a pension. When you retire, you get ready to take that pension. That pension value might be worth $500,000 to you lump sum. You can take it all in cash. That would be a big tax bill and most likely a big mistake because of that tax bill. But most of them you can, or you could roll it to your own individual retirement account, an IRA, and then you can take distributions from that IRA, invest it however you want to, and have more control over that money with the IRA. That's the lump sum option. Or you could take, let's say, $2,500 a month, and that $2,500 a month you will receive each and every month for as long as you're alive. And then if you're married, you might have some spousal survivorship options that you can select from as well. So lump sum option versus lifetime annuity payment options.
Let's talk about the pros and cons of each. What are the pros of the lump sum payment?
So for the lump sum payment, Loren alluded to this, but it's about control. If you can take that entire balance and use it however you wish, that gives you more flexibility and control over that balance. So for example, maybe one of your goals is that when you're retired, you want to be completely out of debt. And let's say you have a mortgage out there. Well, you could use that entire lump sum balance to help accelerate the pay down of that mortgage or whatever debt it is that you have. And that allows you to have the more flexibility and control over how you use those funds.
What about the cons of the lump sum?
The cons of the lump sum is you could run out. You are also in control of investing that money. So you have to make investment decisions because when you roll that $500,000 to your IRA, unless you invest it, it's going to sit there underneath a money market or some kind of cash account. And you spend that $500,000, once it's out, as opposed to the annuity payment, it's there for life.
Yeah, so the pros of the annuity payment, kind of getting there, but what else is good about maybe taking the monthly payment?
What's good about taking the monthly payment is really stability. I mean, people do like this idea of a steady paycheck coming in when they are retired. I mean, you're used to that for 20, 30 years of your life. When you're working, you can rely on that paycheck coming in the door every single month. A pension is very similar to that when you are electing the annuity payout. So it provides that stability. You know what's coming into you each and every month. And if you are married, there becomes to be a lot more option about the survivorship options that you have. And if you want that payment to continue to your spouse when you're gone, you have that option to do that too.
I know I've heard you guys say this about Social Security, about pensions, about basically Medicare, any of these retirement decisions. What's best for maybe your coworker or your friend or your neighbor is definitely not what's best for you.
The decisions that my coworker Bob makes on his retirement plan, including the pensions, might be completely different than the decisions that are best for me, because coworker Bob is living a completely different life than me, even though we do the same thing at work and we work at the same company. He might have a mortgage, I may not have a mortgage. I might have a spouse, he may not have a spouse. I might have kids and grandkids that I want to pass money on to, Bob may not. So everybody's life is a little bit different, which is why the retirement plan, your retirement plan, needs to be your retirement plan and not coworker Bob's or brother Landon's or somebody else's retirement plan. It needs to be yours.
Well, and that's often a huge misconception that we see, is that when our families, they receive these pension packets that tell them all their options, they often just look at the pension packet by itself. They isolate that decision from their overall retirement plan, and really that decision needs to be incorporated, because what that packet doesn't tell you is all the other income sources that you have, like Social Security or how you're going to get your income from your investments. That packet doesn't show you that. So you have to take these options and incorporate that within your overall plan so that you really can choose confidently what is the best decision for you.
Well, that rings true to the debt conversation too. Clearly Bob's debt and your debt can look a lot differently.
Can look a lot different, and that's why we have to itemize what your debt is if you have debt. What kind of a debt repayment program should you create now that you're making that transition from working to retired? And also that pension packet they receive, extremely valuable, extremely important, because it gives you all the necessary details you need to know about those options with your pension, because your pension options might be substantially different than somebody who works at a different company who has also a pension. And in fact, even if you work within the same company now, because pension plans have changed over the years, you might work at the same company, but your coworker's pension options might even be different than your pension options. That's why that packet that you receive about your pension is extremely important, because it shows you what your options are.
Are you picking up on the theme here? Your decisions are unique to you. They're specific to your situation, so why not ask specific questions directly to a retirement planner? Here's a great opportunity. It's a 15-minute retirement checkup call. You can schedule one right now by going to the website you see on your screen. Choose a time and a date that works for you, and you can ask about a pension if that's something that you're facing as a pension decision, but you can also ask about any of the aspects of retirement. We're going to talk about pensions and interest rates next.
Retirement is all about staying active and spending time with loved ones. But you may still wonder if you can have the retirement you've dreamed of. Download our complimentary Retire Your Way Toolkit to receive a copy of Loren Merkle's new book, Retire Your Way, and 5 guides that'll help you turn your retirement worries into confidence. Go to retireyourwaytoolkit.com. Don't just dream about retirement. Take action and retire your way.
This is Retiring Today. I'm here with Haley Gutschenritter and Loren Merkle, and we promised to talk about interest rates and pensions. And there's kind of, let's first talk about interest rates, because we're seeing some stuff we haven't seen for a long time with interest rates.
This interest rate environment is top of mind for most people because it is having a big impact on their financial world, whether it's talking about if they want to use leverage, if they want to take out a loan, the interest rates they have to pay to get that money is much higher than what we've seen really for the last 15 years. It's impacting their investments. We saw bonds, because when interest rates go up, the value of bonds goes down. So we go through a year like 2022 and the stock market gets crushed, but also the bond market gets crushed. People are sitting here wondering, where do I go, right? So it's hitting people on all sides of their financial world.
Yeah, and sometimes people are surprised when they get those statements in the mail. If you do have a pension, what interest rates have done to those payouts, lump sum payouts, that is.
Yeah, people don't know this, but interest rates have an inverse relationship with the lump sum offering. So if you had, say, a $500,000 lump sum offering or a $2,500 monthly annuity payout, that interest rate will impact the lump sum offering and decrease it if interest rates go up, but what it would not impact is that annuity payout. And so people are getting these notices in the mail that says, hey, your lump sum offering may be reduced by 80, 100,000, whatever that is. And that is a huge significant difference, especially when you're relying on that investment for when you retire.
And that inverse relationship is kind of interesting, and you're really going to break it down for us over at the board.
Yeah, let's go to the board. It is very interesting because it is a surprise for most people who receive that notice in the mail about their lump sum pension, and it actually goes down because most people think interest rates go up. From an investment standpoint, it might have a positive impact, if any impact at all. But then you get that pension notice in the mail, and instead of the $500,000 lump sum, it might be $450,000. For some people, it might be $400,000, which is a substantial difference. So why does that happen? If you think about the lump sum option, again, we're going to say $500,000. You could also take the annuity payment. Again, there's a number of survivorship options. Let's say that annuity option is going to produce $2,500 a month. You're sitting there wondering, do I take this? Or do I take this? But the notice you're receiving is saying that the $500,000 might decrease. This $500,000 is a present value of the future payments of your annuity payment. So when interest rates go up, the company doesn't have to pay as much as the $500,000 to produce the same level of annuity payment. And that's why when we do see interest rates go up, this $500,000 lump sum that you received a notice of last year might actually be closer to the $450,000 or $460,000, because since March of 2022, interest rates have increased nearly 5%. And the way that we can assume how much your lump sum is going to go down is for about every 1% of interest rate increase, anticipate your lump sum value to go down somewhere close to 9%. So many people have seen a significant drop because interest rates have increased so quickly since March of 2022. And that leads us with the question of, if this is you, how do you work this new lump sum amount into your overall plan? Because Haley, as you mentioned, that annuity payment has not changed. So if your annuity payment was saying $2,500 a month, that's not going to change due to interest rates going up, but the $500 might be $450, which might lead you to a completely different conclusion.
When you get the notice that it's going down, do you have some time before it goes down, or is it gone down right away? Are they saying in the future it's going to go down?
They're saying that in the future it's going to go down. So you'll get that notice, but then on that notice it will say by November 1st, if you haven't made a decision, your pension amount will decrease from this amount down to this amount. And
yeah. I'm thinking, like, does that make people go, I got to retire today? $50,000 is a year's worth of money I could live off of. I got to go now.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because that is what created this influx of calls, especially last year when we went through rapidly increasing interest rates. So we had a handful of calls last year. And from my experience with one person that I work with, he called us and he said, hey, I just got a notice that my $400,000 pension is dropping to $300,000. And it wasn't in his plan to retire this year. In fact, he was waiting until he turned 65 because of healthcare reasons. So what ended up happening is we got together, we started building out the plan, and what we saw through that plan was that financially he could retire sooner. And that meant a great deal to him, because when you're about to lose $100,000 of value in that lump sum offering, to him, he's thinking, well, that's 2 more free years of working, essentially. So why would I work those 2 years, just to have a lower pension amount. And so what we did is we put the plan together, we saw the numbers, and financially it showed that he could retire sooner while taking that higher lump sum offering.
And that's part of the benefit of already having that plan established, is because he already had the plan, and all we did is we said, okay, this variable has adjusted to this. Let's put that into the plan, and how does that impact you from an overall retirement standpoint? And the beautiful part about that is then he got to see. He got to see what if he continues to work and he allows that pension lump sum to go down. Would then, if he retires later, would he still take the pension lump sum or would he take the annuity payment? He got to see what that life looks like. Then he also got to see, what if I retire a little bit earlier? What if he retired a little bit earlier? He can do whatever he wants to do a little bit earlier, and it worked out from a financial standpoint. So in the face of this adjustment in his pension lump sum, he could see what those two worlds look like, and then it's much easier for him to make that decision.
Yeah, and the biggest reward out of him making that decision is just seeing how his life has changed. Because to be completely honest, emotionally, he was ready to retire. He was overstressed, he was overworked, on call 24/7, and emotionally, he was really ready to pull that plug, but he just wasn't aware if he could do it financially, doing it a few years sooner. But that's what the plan showed him, is that he had the confidence to retire financially and emotionally, and now that he's retired, he's put a new emphasis on his health. He has the time to train for the half marathon. He moved closer to his grandkids. Got a side gig on the golf course. I mean,
life is good.
Life is good, and that is the most beautiful part of the whole process.
And he just needed that last push. That last push, which is increasing interest rates, decreasing lump sum. He got the notice in the mail from the pension company, and he was like, Haley, what does this look like? And then the decisions that he made, he's very happy about making them.
Yeah. So with the interest rates going up and the pension payout decreasing, do you find that sometimes people want to then go to the monthly annuity payment, and are there some drawbacks to go into that monthly annuity payment?
Yeah, some people are in that boat where they're just not ready to retire, whether it's emotionally or even financially, so they really don't have as many options as this gentleman had. They continue to work. After that date, the pension lump sum goes down. Well, now financially it doesn't make sense to take that lump sum, and he's kind of stuck with that annuity payment. Now it's about how do you work that annuity payment into the overall retirement plan. There's different decisions that will go along with that, different ramifications, but it's nice that they know up front, this is what this looks like and here's what we need to do to adjust going forward.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about the annuity payment. Maybe one of the cons, I don't think we touched on it. I know we've talked about it in the podcast, but one of the cons is sometimes when you pass, then that's the end of it. Or sometimes there's an option to leave some money to your spouse, but really, since no one knows when their last day is, sometimes the lump sum is more advantageous because you get the larger amount of money up front.
Yeah, with the lump sum, I mean, you know you can add beneficiaries to that amount once it's in your control. So if you were to pass away within 5 or 10 years of taking it and there was still a balance left, I mean, that's going to go on to your beneficiaries. With the pension decision, with the annuity payments, they do have those survivorship components. So essentially, if you have a $2,500 monthly income stream on your life, what they may do is they may decrease it to $2,000 a month, but it will pay on your life and your spouse's life. So they have those options for you, but unless you choose a survivorship option, then that pension's gone once you pass.
Well, and that's for those who are married, but there's a whole lot of people out there who are not married, don't have that spouse, which makes the lump sum even much more attractive, because with that single life annuity option, you start that pension payment and 3 months later you pass away, then it goes away. I mean, there are some pension plans do allow you to have a non-spousal beneficiary, but not all do. So again, it just varies with everybody. You have to understand the nuances of your pension, the options that you have available. Have to have a really good understanding of your situation, all the other financials, and that's going to lead you to whatever decision is best for you.
So the pension decision, just one of the many decisions that people face as they start heading into retirement. A great way to see, Haley, all of these decisions that are coming up is our online Journey to Retirement workshop.
And the online workshop is fantastic because you can do it from the benefit of your own home, you can do it from your couch, take all the notes that you want, but really what that workshop's going to start teaching you is what you should start to think about as you approach retirement, or if you're already retired, what are some of the options or the strategies that you have available to enhance your retirement?
The online Journey to Retirement workshop is a workshop that you can watch like Haley said, from the comfort of your own home, and it's a hypothetical couple. You see all the decisions they make, and you see how they put together a comprehensive retirement plan. The details about how to sign up are on your screen. You can go to retirewithmerkle.com or use the QR code, choose a time and a date that works for you, and you can get started. We still have some more to talk about when it comes to pension payouts next.
Retirement is all about staying active and spending time with loved ones. But you may still wonder if you can have the retirement you've dreamed of. Download our complimentary Retire Your Way Toolkit to receive a copy of Loren Merkle's new book, Retire Your Way, and 5 guides that'll help you turn your retirement worries into confidence. Go to retireyourwaytoolkit.com. Don't just dream about retirement. Take action and retire your way.
This is Retiring Today. I am here with Haley Gutschenritter and Loren Merkle. We're talking about the big pension decision that people face. And I know, Loren, when you put together comprehensive retirement plans for people, you talk about inflation. And when they make a pension decision, you have to talk about inflation as well.
We do, because a lot of pensions don't have a cost of living adjustment, unlike Social Security. There are some pensions that offer a cost of living, but most of them don't, which is really important because 10 years after you retire, you're still going to have to go to the grocery store. And when you go to the counter or you go to the fruit section, you see the pineapple used to cost you $2, now it's $5. That really takes a bite to your spendable income. So we have to build inflation protection into your portfolio, into your retirement plan. If your pension has a cost of living adjustment, fantastic. Let's figure that on how that works. If it doesn't, then we have to account for that as we go.
And when you talk about cost of living adjustment, you're clearly only talking about monthly payments. There's no way the lump sum would take that into account. But what you can do if you take the lump sum is maybe invest in a way that you're keeping inflation in mind.
That's exactly right. So if you're investing the lump sum, really your objective is to try to keep up with inflation, beat taxation, and then grow the portfolio a little bit on top of that. So that's the benefits about taking the lump sum, is that it can provide you a way to keep up with inflation when prices go up. But if you're taking the fixed amount and you're taking that monthly payment stream and there is no cost of living adjustment, well, that means that if you took the $2,500 a month, that $2,500 a month is not going to be spread as far 10 or 20 years down the road. So that's where you have to figure out other ways to make sure that you are going to outpace your portfolio with inflation.
And that is one of the benefits of taking the lump sum, because as you mentioned, you can invest it to beat inflation, as opposed to if that $500,000 you're not taking, now you have the $2,500, it's a lot harder to adjust for that. Also depending upon what other resources you have. If you have other resources that are investable that you can still beat inflation by investing, that might make that decision look a little bit different for you.
And you talk about beating inflation. It wasn't too long ago we sat right here and we talked about 8 and 9% inflation. Did you find that during those times it was harder to make investments that were able to keep up with inflation?
Yeah, and inflation in any particular period of time, especially shorter period of times, when inflation was going sky high, the market was going down. So investing in stocks and bonds while inflation was going up, you're not going to beat inflation in any particular segment of time, every particular segment. But over the course of your 10, 15, 20-year retirement, you have to be able to beat inflation and taxation and grow it on top of that. So it's more of a long-term approach as far as beating inflation and taxation and growing it. We can't be too micro within those segments.
And we know that if you've stuck with us this long, you might have a pension and you're tuning in and find this very valuable information, but you could be watching and not have a pension, but have a 401k decision in front of you or have a Social Security decision in front of you. We go through some of those things in the online Journey to Retirement workshop.
Yeah, you may not have a pension at home, but some of the decisions that you have to make with your other investments and your other resources that make up your retirement could look very similar. So a pension can be like Social Security, and with Social Security you have up to 81 different options and you have one chance to get it right. So taking some of these concepts and the fact that we have to make these decisions and they need to be incorporated in the overall plan is something to go into it thinking about so that you know confidently that you're making the right choice.
Who's a good candidate to watch this online Journey to Retirement workshop?
Anybody who is within 10 years of retiring or already retired and has an abundance of decisions that has to be made, and you want to make those decisions with confidence. Because in this workshop, we use a hypothetical couple, John and Sue, and they're just 3 short years away from wanting to retire, and they have very specific goals that they're trying to accomplish, not only individually, but also as a couple. And through this workshop, we show you the decisions that they make, how they construct their portfolio, how they decrease their retirement tax bill, how they leave a legacy to their 2 kids, the 81 different Social Security options, Haley, that you mentioned, how they sort through that mess of options.
Go through all 81 in the workshop?
No. Yeah. Now you want to go, don't you?
81 options.
Yeah, why not, right?
Sure.
No, we don't go through all 81, but we show you how we narrow those 81 down to a more manageable subset that make the most sense to John and Sue. And then we go a step further, and how do John and Sue identify between that subset of smaller options, which option is ultimately going to be the best for them. So what I really love about it is, number one, there's no cost to you. You can view this workshop in the comfort of your own home. So that means you can bust out some wine if you want to.
Sweatpants or
have a little popcorn sweatpants,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's very comfortable, and there's a ton of action steps that you can take out of this online workshop to implement almost immediately to help improve what you're trying to do from an overall retirement planning standpoint.
And what I really love about it is that it actually shows you what it looks like to have a retirement plan. A lot of people approach retirement and they wonder, what is a retirement plan? And usually they're thinking that it's just your investments, it's just what you've saved, but there's so many different components that build this retirement plan, and for the first time you can actually see what it looks like to have one and what it feels like going into retirement to have one.
Here are the details for the online Journey to Retirement workshop. They're on your screen right now. You can go to retirewithmerkle.com. When you get there, you'll choose a time and a date that works for you. Then you're signed up for that workshop. Get comfortable and start learning, because you want to devote about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to all of these important topics that we've been talking about on this show, Retiring Today. And then you'll start your retirement journey. You can get started with confidence, and then you can take some action steps from there that'll really make you feel good about your journey to retirement. We'll keep talking about the aspects of retirement on this show. It's Retiring Today, and we thank you for watching.
Do I have enough saved for retirement? When should I take Social Security? Which Medicare option is best? How do I plan for inflation? Sometimes the road to retirement starts with more questions than answers. We're here to help. Join us for our upcoming Journey to Retirement workshop. Get answers and start your retirement journey with confidence. Our online workshop includes information on Secure Act 2.0 and changing retirement rules. Visit retirewithmerkle.com to register for an upcoming workshop. Your retirement journey starts now.